Guzman, and this is the show Everything South Dade. Today I have a special guest. I have two special guests with me, and we're going to talk some history about something that's really, really special in Homestead. We're going to talk Homestead Seminole Theater. I have Katherine Rubio, the director, executive director of the Seminole Theater, and I have Tony Seeperstad, who is one of the most creative persons I have ever met. Thank you guys for being on the show today.
Thank you for having us.
So it's so interesting that we talk about the Seminole Theater because there's always been a want from the people in Homestead to have a place to go instead of having to drive up to the Adrian Arts Center or to drive up to some other theater. You guys have, created this theater. It has been revived and it has been extremely special for the community of Homestead. And you guys are the ones that make all of that happen. So tell us a little bit about what goes behind the scenes on creating some of these amazing, amazing shows and productions that you guys do.
Sure. So, to start off, we definitely there's two aspects that I think one of the major aspects is the incredible touring shows that we've brought in the past, like Art Garfunkel, Judy Collins, people like that. But I think the heart of our theater is our community theater program, our Seminole Theater Players. So that part of it is where Anthony comes in. Anthony or Tony. He is, like you said, the creative mind. He is the creative mind behind a lot of the Seminole Theater Player shows that you see, like The Little Mermaid, The Lion King, The Hunchback that we have coming up. And do you want to talk a little bit about that?
The Hunchback.
Yeah.
Really, really cool. Really, really cool.
So The Hunchback of Notre Dame is probably my favorite Disney adaptation to the Broadway stage. Okay. It's got an epic musical score. It's got a huge chorus. It's got all kinds of pyrotechnics.
Right.
It takes place in the Notre Dame Cathedral. So we are going to be building the Notre Dame Cathedral on the stage with our incredible production manager and director of that show, which is Frankie Navarro.
Okay.
Shout out to Frankie.
Okay.
So the show is going to be epic, and we have auditions on August 16th, 17th, and 18th.
Auditions, so anybody can come audition.
From 7 to 10, each of those, that's the open call. If you are a singer, you're a dancer, or maybe you just have some good solid acting chops, come to the audition. But we also are inclusive of lots of special needs or different types of people who are, may not be typically thought of as being, ready for a show like that. And we have some special slots to highlight people in the community that, want to be on stage and to show the community when they're watching the production that we want everybody in the theater.
Phenomenal. So a little bit of history of the theater. The theater was opened back in 1921. Right. So it's a long, long time ago. Then the theater had an accident where there was a fire back in 1940. Right. Then Hurricane Andrew came and just put the icing on the cake, and the theater shut down. And all of a sudden, the voters of Homestead, with a referendum, they revived the theater, and the voters voted to bring this back to life. That's how you guys come in to play. And the company that you work for, you said it's Oakview, right?
Oakview Group, yes.
Oakview. I researched a little bit. These guys are huge. Absolutely. These guys are mega players, not only in the U.S., but in the world.
Right. Exactly.
Tell us a little bit about Oakview.
Sure. So I think they're one of the major reasons we're able to bring in such incredible quality acts through our town. Right. We are, a smaller theater and kind of the tip of Florida, but we are pretty well known in this industry because of the name we hold of Oakview Group. They're the leading venue management company right now in the U.S. And from our 20,000 seat venue, 10,000 seat venue to our 420 seat venue, it's just quality, whatever we present.
So we have an opportunity to get some of the best acts that come through Miami. Yeah. People that want to come to Miami, they can also get down to Homestead only because of the relationship that company has and the power that they bring and the talent that they provide. That is amazing. So, Tony, part of what you do in the theater, when you're putting a production together, is it like a month-long process of rehearsals, of practicing? How long does it take to bring it all so that you can push it out to an audience and say, we're ready to go?
Okay, so it starts about from auditions to the time we actually open the show, it's about 3 months. And
Okay.
we about 2.5 to 3 months, and then we have some lead time before auditions in which we have to assemble our production team, get our director, kind of go through the all the like logistical details
Right.
of how the auditions are going to go. So that probably takes place, ideally about a month before that.
Okay.
But at the beginning of the season, we kind of map out exactly how many shows we want to do and what types of shows and how inclusive we can be, and to make sure there's roles for all different types of people.
Okay.
Different colors,
Right.
different ages, all of that kind of stuff.
So very diverse group.
Yeah.
All right. So if it takes 3 months, so there could potentially be 4 big signature shows that you want to do throughout the year. So you're already anticipating, after the Hunchback of Notre Dame, there's something else that you've got in your mind after that.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
And that process starts way, way in advance.
Yeah.
Okay. So the minute the show is a hit, and everybody comes out and it's a huge success, immediately you get into the next phase of another show?
Sometimes we run them concurrently. Usually during the summers before the pandemic, we would actually do 2 shows during the summer, and they would be running concurrently with 2 different production teams.
Okay.
So we'll do usually the 2 big summer musicals with adults, and then during the school year, we would be doing 2 junior productions.
Cool.
With our conservatory program that we've been lucky enough to grow.
Yeah.
And then we try to do a Christmas show that's a non-musical for people who are maybe not able to dance and sing quite as well, but they want to be on the stage and they want to be able to act and do something like that. So we're trying to be diverse that way.
Katherine, tell me a little.
It really never stops. The planning never stops. I'll tell you that.
That's true. We never stop talking about it.
Katherine, tell us a little bit about how you managed to get through the pandemic, because everything was shut down, yet the theater still had to operate and manage. How did you navigate through those challenging times?
I think it was kind of what everyone was trying to figure out at the time. There was no really right or wrong answer. But what we did is we had to go more to the technology side. So we started the Seminole Cyber series. So instead of, bringing the audience to us, we would bring the artists to the theater and do things like, what are some of the things we did? We did a forum or a talk back about racism and diversity in the
While
theater
the Black
industry.
Lives Matter, all of that was going on, and trying to address that and see how in the theater, we can have a discussion about what that means in our world.
It's almost like writing music, but in a production. You instead of writing music, you guys would say, this is happening in our lives right now, in our world. So let's put it on stage.
We brought the conversation to them and let the audience
really cool.
be part of it. Yeah. We had workshops, dance workshops. We had singing workshops for people that were, bored at home because everyone was losing their mind.
Right.
So we were just trying to find ways to bring the audience through Zoom or whatever avenue. But it also gave us the opportunity to see how we can better ourselves. To make sure that when we do come, like our season is coming in October, finally, I want to be able to present a season that's as diverse as possible.
Great.
Being able that we can give the community what they want, basically.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, is there a show or a production that hasn't been presented yet, but you guys really want to bring it to Homestead?
Yes.
Yeah.
A lot. The one musical we have that was planned before the pandemic that we haven't gotten around to yet, but it probably will be our next one, is Mamma Mia.
Ooh.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's exciting.
So hopefully next summer is when we're going to be bringing that.
Phenomenal.
Which, by the way, our Seminole Theater player season, which is what Tony's talking about, got interrupted because of the pandemic. And I really want to just let the sponsors for those shows know that we appreciate it. They've been waiting for 2 years to get their shows. So Hunchback's actually sponsored by Lorenzo Ford and Homestead. So very appreciative of them.
Great.
And Mamma Mia by RF Orchids. So really excited. Yep.
Big shout out to Lorenzo Ford and RF Orchids. Appreciate the support that you guys are giving to the Seminole Theater. Tony, you are also a musician.
I see where it's going. Yes, I am a musician.
You're a musician and you play a lot, and you're part of other productions, throughout Miami-Dade County. You enjoy playing, and it's a relief for you. When did you start playing? How did you get into it?
I started at 6 years old playing piano, and then about 12 years old, I started playing violin. And I went to the University of Miami for my bachelor's and my master's in music.
Awesome.
Doing that and a little bit of jazz vocal. And one of the reasons, I'll just add this real quick about why I'm so passionate about the Seminole Theater is that when I was growing up, there was nothing in Homestead.
Right.
So I was lucky enough to have a parent that would drive me to the University of Miami or to wherever up in Miami that I needed to go for lessons or for performances, all that kind of stuff. So I was really passionate about getting on the board to like make sure that we have a theater for our community, because there are a lot of kids who are really talented who don't have that family support that can take them wherever.
Right.
So it's a really big part for me,
right,
personally, that we have something in Homestead to give to all of those kids that are there.
So your parents, from a very young age, they nurtured your career. You started at 6 years old, and they kept with you because you had a passion for it. The same way kids could get into soccer or football or baseball. Your avenue was music, and they saw that you wanted to continue, and they supported that.
Yeah.
Which is great that happened in Homestead.
Yeah.
And you developed a talent, which I've heard you play before.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you're extremely, extremely good at what you do. Yeah. And I'm hoping that you'd say yes to give our audience just a little taste of some of the musical talent that you have. Can you give us a little...
All right. So I just happened to have my violin with me about to go to work. And so they made me put it on this table and then have me play something. So also I'll shout out Miami Cancer Institute. That's where I'm running to after this. And I'm part of a cohort of artists that are playing for patients that have cancer and going through chemotherapy. And that's kind of the new project that's awesome. We're doing, and hopefully everybody supports these kinds of arts and programs in the community. All right, so maybe you'll say something to Catherine while
let him get ready.
So Catherine, you met Tony. He just happened to show up at the theater one day.
Well, I started 2 months after the theater opened, and in that time, he was already part of our board. He's the vice president of our board, which, by the way, we wouldn't be here without the Friends of the Historic Seminole Theater. Right. Shout out to our president, Linda Fagan, and all our wonderful board members. They were part of the reason our doors opened.
My beautiful wife is part of that board, too.
Yes,
Shout out
Emily.
to Emily Guzman.
She is part of the board. And that's how we're able to do, the programs we're talking about. That in partnership with some grads throughout Miami-Dade. But the children's programs, our conservatory, our Seminole Theater players, all that is possible. It started with our grassroots effort with our board.
So the kids also, they have an opportunity to be part of a lot of things. Like Tony was mentioning, it's inclusive of the community. So kids that are coming up, elementary, middle school, if they want to get involved, they just go to the theater, talk to you, and you guys can give them a schedule on things that are coming up.
Yeah.
And hopefully they are talented enough to impress this gentleman, and they can get on. Okay, Tony, give us a little.
So I'm not sure if I should just sit here and.
Yeah, I think that'd be great.
Like
right there, okay. Right there.
So I'm just gonna put on a little track. This is one of the favorites at MCI.
Yep. Oh, whoa, whoa, whoa.
That's Tony.
That's setting the bar high. That is setting the bar high.
Thank you.
my
Thank
friend.
you.
Amazing. Amazing. Thank you. Thank you for doing that for us, Tony. I enjoyed that. And that is a true talent that you have.
Thank you. Thank you.
We're
Appreciate
grateful that you are part of the Seminole Theater.
Yes.
We thank the work that you guys do and all the effort that you guys put into the Seminole Theater. I'm hoping to be part of that audition. I'm gonna be auditioning for.
We're gonna hold you to it. We're gonna hold you to it.
You got to stuff that back to your blazer.
Anyways, thank you guys so much for spending some time with me. Appreciate everything you guys do. Thank you guys. You guys have an awesome day.